In this episode, we'll be taking on a 3-day epic, starting in Mallaig and finishing it in Sheil Bridge. Riding through some of the most remote and inaccessible parts of Scotland, taking a boat across a loch, staying in a Bothy, having a pint in Scotland's most remote pub, sleeping in a disused outhouse, and riding from dusk until dawn.
3, 2, 1, drop it!
My name is Scotty Laughland and this is Scotty's Scotland Showcase. This season we're going on some big adventures, exploring parts of Scotland I didn't know existed and discovering some amazing single track.
Mallaig is a coastal village and a starting point for the route. Today's route would see us riding Singletrack next to a freshwater loch before crossing over to a sea loch and meeting Captain Richard and his crew at the extraction point to cross Loch Nevis. Day one would see us starting at the bakery, because every good ride starts with a coffee and cinnamon roll.
The Chapel of Inverberg was built in 1780, and what an absolutely stunning location to go to church. It's so peaceful and tranquil. Look at this place, just absolutely incredible. Riding along cliff tops, sandy beaches below, purple heather, just absolutely stunning.
We've made it! Right there, that's Loch Mora. Down there, Loch Nevis, freshwater loch, seawater loch. And the old fisherman's tale is that Vikings used to actually come up through this pass carrying their longbow. Absolutely incredible. Time to get to the extraction point.
We descended into Tarbert and met Captain Richard, Skipper Norman and second mate Fiona.
Hello!
They were picking us up and taking us over the loch to Camus Rory.
Look at that. See you guys! Thank you!
From Camus Rory, we'd have a short 3-kilometre section to get to where we'd be staying for the night at Sourley's Bothy.
We're going all the way out to the end of this beach. You can see our Bothy, Sourley's just about there. And the sun is starting to set. It's been an absolutely incredible day and just so cool to be out here exploring, taking the boat across the peninsula and then riding to this place.
A bothy is a refuge in the mountain. They're free to use. The number one rule is that you're respectful and you leave it as you found it. We arrived at Sourley's Bothy.
How's it going?
Right.
Is it busy?
Just two of us.
You have no idea who will be there, if you'll have it to yourself or if you'll be sharing it. We happen to be sharing it with a lovely couple, Kim and Hannah. It was my first time ever sleeping in a bothy. We were also joined by Charlie, who came just as the sun was setting. We lit the fire, ate dinner, and then had a really nice night's kip.
Morning. Slept like a log. 10 hours, 9 till 7. A little bit chilly at times, but overall, really pleasant. Refreshed and ready for a big day on the bike.
Left the bothy, just been walking for a couple of minutes to go and try and find some water, and arrived at the river. One of the biggest challenges about doing a trip like this is actually carrying water. So we've actually brought with us this water purification device. So basically you can drink out of any stream. A little tip, make sure that the water is flowing and don't actually sweep it up into the water, because then you're going to get sediment and dirt into it. You want it just to naturally fill up, and then you can top up your bottle from there. Toasted banana porridge. First bite. That's some good stuff. Eat well in the wild with a beautiful view. Okay, start of day 2. Pretty good night's sleep in the bothy. Today, we've got a good day ahead of us. Over to Inverie, about a 500 metre up and over, descend down. There's a cafe there. There's also the most remote pub in the whole of the UK there, so we'll definitely be stopping there for a pint. But first of all, we've got to attack the bog section, get through that, and then it's hike a bike.
We'd crossed the same bog the night before, but today the tide had come in and we had to choose a different route. We had to basically pick our own line. There were sections where we were just guessing and we were knee deep in places. Once we'd crossed through the bog, you reached what was an old settlement. It was a really cool area. You're surrounded by big mountains. The loch is right there. You're really in the middle of nowhere. The only way to get here is by boat. And it's just so epic. You're in complete wilderness. There's no phone signal. There's no nothing. From those ruins, we climbed up. It was a hike a bike pretty much all the way.
It doesn't get any fresher than that. Straight from the stream to the bottle. And that looks like it's the last of our hike a bike.
As we got to the top, the weather changed again. The rain became even heavier. The wind blew in. It was pretty cold.
Put the jackets on for a bit of a strategic decision to try and stay dry. The wind is coming in. It is seriously cold. And basically, we're just getting ready to drop into the descent. It's about 10 kilometers all the way to Inverie. And in Knoydart, there's the most remote pub in the whole of the UK. I'm excited for a pint and to warm up.
We'd been told the day before that it was in a bit of disrepair. There was going to be sections of bog, and it was exactly that. It was soft, it was hard going, there was technical sections, And the biggest challenge was there was loads of ruts, but the grass had actually grown over it. So when you're coming into it and you're coming in at speed, you couldn't actually tell what was in front of you.
I was cruising down the trail, got a little bit of a rhythm going, and then all of a sudden the wheel just dug straight into a big drainage rut, straight over the bars, absolutely soaked through, covered. The one time I didn't even have the GoPro recording.
The further we got down the path, the trail became better and better, it became faster and in better condition, and then eventually we reached what was a state path that would take us down to Inverree.
We've come off the mountain, some incredible sections, some others that left a little bit more to be desired for. We've ended up in Inverree, which is home to the most remote pub in the whole of the UK. Let's go and get a pint.
Inverree is a really small village, it's remote, it's only accessible by boat. It has the most remote pub in the whole of the UK in it. There's a cafe there, there's a local shop, and a selection of accommodation. I wish, if I'd known and planned ahead of time, that we booked a really nice Airbnb, because where we were staying on night 2 was not somewhere that I ever want to go back to.
What's your soul saying?
We're refreshed and leaving the village of Inverree and headed for a camp spot for night 2.
Is your world changing? Oh, what's your soul saying?
We found our camp spot for the night.
Is your world changing? Your face tells me always.
Tonight's chef, we've got chili non-carne, giving it a good mix. Just gonna seal it up, and then I'm gonna cuddle this like a hot water bottle, just to give me some extra heat. Last night got a little bit wild, it got windy, it got wet, so we actually moved inside of the shelter. Not the most glamorous place to stay, but hey, kept us dry and warm. Today, we've got about 48 kilometers to do, over 1,500 meters. A couple of up and overs along some locks. It should be absolutely beautiful. I'm excited to check it out. Let's leave this place. It's just before 8 o'clock, and I reckon it's gonna be a good 8-9 hour day.
The next morning when we woke up, we walked around the back of the building and realized that there's a fully enclosed shelter that we could have slept in and stayed dry and been a lot warmer than we had been that night. We left where we'd stayed the night, rode along the edge of the loch, started climbing before it came to hike a bike all the way up to the top. Our route would take us up and over to Barrisdale, where with a little bit more research, we'd have known that there's a bothy with electricity and running water. We'd poorly picked our accommodation for the previous night.
Let's go to Barrisdale!
The trail down from the saddle was really fun, it was fast, it was flowing, you could see where you were going, there was nice rocky sections in it, and the turns worked really well as a mountain bike trail. We're going down the trail, it was fast, and I don't know if I misjudged a section, if the bike slipped, just stepped out on me, and I ended up coming off it and going into the edge of a ditch.
You know. Yeah, dude, I'm sound, yeah. Oh, that could have been nasty. Damn, that was lucky.
I walked away completely unscathed. The bike was also fine. I was lucky to get away with this one. You're in this remote location. It would have been a long walk out either way back to civilization to get help if I had had an injury. When you're riding in these locations, always ride within your limit. We passed through Barrisdale and the next point of interest was Kinlochhourn Head. It was a long way to get there though. We had challenging terrain underfoot. It was slow, we were on and off the bike, hiking it through sections, pulling it through sections of bush, and in some places it was almost impassable by bike.
We're already against time, and as you can see, though some sections are fast rolling, others are really slow, and it's quite hard terrain to work through and ride.
We got to the tea room in Kinlochhourn Head and we were welcomed in with a cup of tea and a slice of fruitcake. Tell you what, hunger is the best sauce.
Got some fruitcake, cup of tea, absolutely perfect. We're at the halfway point, a bit more to go.
Day 3 was the longest of our journey, and at this point we probably should have stopped over, made some lunch, taken a break and refueled, because the next part we had totally underestimated. From leaving the tea room, we went straight into a seriously steep, arduous climb. It was loose underfoot, we were pushing the bike, and it was a real struggle. But what kept us going was just how beautiful the landscape was. It was truly amazing.
Blue skies are out, it finally feels like summer again, and you can see the loch that we were riding along the edge of earlier. It's just truly epic. What a place to be riding your bike.
We reached the top, it was nothing special, we dropped straight in, there was barely any path, and it was just free riding, picking wherever you wanted to go down the steep grassy slope. We followed the pylons for a while longer, on and off quad tracks. It was fun, it was fast, and we were just making up ground as we were moving. We had about 10 kilometers left. We'd come down off the big tracks. We had the mountains behind us. It was truly epic. You felt like you're in the Highlands. There was no one around.
Almost at the top of the very last climb of the day, and what an epic journey it's been. Just stood here taking it all in, the landscapes, where we've come from, and you can actually even see Skye right where the sun is setting. What an awesome day, what an adventure. Yeah, ready for a big old meal, feeling pretty depleted now.
By the time I got to the top of the last descent, my legs were barely turning. I was completely done in. I was so hungry, and when we saw where we were, and there was just a tarmac descent, I don't think I've ever been so happy to see tarmac, and just rolling down the road, having the wind in your face, knowing that you completed this absolutely epic journey. I actually don't think, had there been a trail there, that I could have properly ridden it and done it justice. It was just nice to roll down, make it back to the van, and really reflect on what we'd done the last 3 days and where we'd come from.
What an absolutely epic ride. Truly something special. Would I do it again? You'll have to ask me next week.
Would I do it all over again? Yeah, I think I would. It was an experience, a truly unforgettable one. There are sections in there that are just amazing, but there is so much else I also want to explore. I will say, I'll go back to that pub in Inverie any day of the week. Amazing pints, incredible atmosphere, and just looking out across the peninsula was amazing. Thanks for watching this epic episode of Scotty's Scotland Showcase. Doing routes like this requires serious planning, knowledge, experience and preparation. As much of a struggle as this was at times, we always knew where we were, escape route options and had backup emergency plans and rations. If you want to take on this route, you'll find all the details in the description and you'll be able to follow it turn for turn. In the next episode, we'll be road tripping in the Western Isles, riding Skye, Ramsay and Harris.